So at that time, I didn't think, because I never saw no underage girls. But now looking back on it, even watching the documentary, I learned things that I didn't know about.
I admit I trust people too much. Too much. I admit I can't say such and such, but my lawyers told me settle this, even though it's bullshit. Carefully protect your career. All these people in my ear. I admit I've been tempted by drugs. I admit that I just need a hug. I've been fucked by so many damn managers. Why they push me out front of these cameras? All this music gotta cater them, and now they play me like a fucking amateur. I got a life, yeah. I got a right, yeah. Cancel my shows. That shit ain't right. How they gon' say I don't respect these women when all I've done is represent? Take my career and turn it upside down, cause you mad I've got some girls. Hell with this record deal, it ain't worth this shit for real. Ain't seen my kids in years. They try to lock me up like this. How much can a nigga take? How much can a nigga break? Just wanna do my music, stop stressing me. Please just let me age gracefully. They took my gift and they blind me. Where the fuck is my money? Now here come this big ass conspiracy. I still got my fans, that's a blessing.
Facebook, live to you. Radio, live to you. Radio.
So, she was like, a lot of people like, oh, I was lying. But, yeah, that's what I want to say. For people to see, that's Robert's signature from a lawsuit that was between me and him. He signed papers, so, again, how does he not know me? That's what I just really want to know. How does he not know me? And, wait a minute. So much proof on top of proof on top of proof, and yeah, that's why there's the case. So, yeah, right there. Ron paid me, there it is, I told you right there. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it, but it told you that he paid me $50,000 right there, and it was a receipt for him paying. He was paying $50,000 every other month to me, and then he ended up having to, have whatever, and he ended up paying $5,000 a month. So, yeah, I have so much proof. Like, yeah, there is a real case. Yes, Robert really does know me, and yes, I did sue him, and there was a settlement, and yes, he was paying me. So, yeah, if I was lying about anything, here would not be anything. He was period. Can you disclose the amount? Can I talk about what? The amount that he was paying you? Yeah, the amount he was paying me is $50,000 every other month. Exactly. So does that sound like somebody who? And I have some checks. I had checks with Daryl Me Baby name on it. I have checks with JEGT, like some type of JEGT on it. Right. I know like where Rob Banks and stuff was. So yeah, I have tons of truth. And then I was getting direct deposits. So, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't pay that much money if you didn't know a person. I don't know. And I mean, why did he address me of all people? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody that was writing for him saw the Gayle King interview. Why did he address me? But we saw our daughter, but he's not locked up. He said on the Gayle King interview, yeah, they sold her. Okay, if you brought her. Yes, I did have sex with Bubba as well. No, we did not have a threesome, but me and Bubba had another relationship outside of Rob. No.
Now, before I proceed to the rest of my commentary for this video, let me address a few things that I see consistently with videos when new people are on the channel. For those of you who are new, if you go to my channel, you will notice that I have organized things that I've researched by topic. What annoys me the most is that either A, people start commenting on the videos and haven't watched it, obviously, or B, they watch the video and they start commenting off topic, meaning They can't find a flaw with the research that I've provided and or my opinion on the research that I've went through. So they only go to the things that we've heard. But he married Aaliyah. But he was in the tape. Well, guess what? Those two hot topics have full playlists that break down what I've uncovered about each topic. That is not what this video is about. And another thing is that a lot of people confuse the difference between bloggers and journalists. Therefore, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, their only research is looking up Google and this, and that. Well, unfortunately, we can't include police reports in our research for the simple fact that these accusers against R. Kelly decided to bypass that. And the first ones from the 90s already had their help in getting these settlements from people within his camp. So at the end of the day, just like with any other celebrity, just because you hear about settlements about an artist does not mean they're guilty of any crime. Number two, just because you hear these people talk about these non-disclosures, they fail to tell you that a non-disclosure does not keep them from speaking out on criminal actions. Therefore, if they signed a non-disclosure, took a settlement, and decided that they were content with that settlement, 20, 30 years down the line, are they a victim? Okay? So with that being said, unfortunately, for most people, they like to run with gossip. As far as me, I like to research, and if you look up the definition of research, you will notice that that includes a variety of different resources that you can look up. So if that means Google search, if that means background reports, if that means social media posts, whatever I can come across and look up, that would be included in my research. And that isn't just limited to Google search. Now let me continue with this video.
So let's move right along and get into the topic, which is the accuser, JP. These people want to keep proclaiming that we don't know the individuals that are in the indictment. Well, that might be true, but I have a pretty good idea. And the reason why is because on the same notion that they put that information out, that we don't know these individuals, we had the prosecutor come out and give us the initials of 4 from the state's indictment. And then we keep hearing these people keep talking about Jim Derogatis, who we know had a whole lot of information revolving these people who had these settlements with R. Kelly. So with that being said, are we really supposed to take serious the information coming from a person who would not even testify in court of fear of incriminating himself? The first thing these people planting these narratives will say is, what difference does it make where information comes from? What difference does it make where evidence came from? Well, see, now you see exactly why these people are using social media to put these accusations in the forefront. Now you see why these people wanted to do everything possible to avoid going to the police, and even sat beside their attorneys and told us they didn't go to the police. But yet we're supposed to bypass all of that. Because truth be told, had these people not continuously fed these narratives over and over and over, and continuously put these women's names out there over and over and over, maybe we wouldn't know or have the slightest idea of who these people could be. But the fact remains that we pretty much see what they did. They wanted to bring these charges back about this tape. And they just did a pile-up of all these people with accusations and settlements, and then added in the new bunch of people who were trying to get their settlements. We see through the bullcrap.
He would carry a Louis book sack full of money.
Really?
I remember before I moved in, I remember playing a game, a whiskey game. He would put like the first round had like $1,100 on the table, and then he had money in his pocket. And if you won, you either took the pot or whatever was in the pocket. The second round, he had a whole bunch of money. You either chose the money in his pocket, not knowing if it's all ones or whatever the pot was.
And that's
it was $9,700 in his pocket.
So he had money. Okay.
Yes.
What about this? Did he ever talk about the allegations with him and young girls? And,
No.
and it kept coming back up. He never ever mentioned.
He never spoke of it.
The fact that these accusers and so-called witnesses have stories all over the place and have openly contradicted everything they've told us should be no surprise people like me peeped onto their game early on. It should also be no surprise that a clip like this was copywrote by Warner Music Group. And in this clip, R. Kelly is detailing how he's worth over $900 million. Interesting enough, these people took that clip and manipulated it as though R. Kelly was saying it's too late to charge him for any illegal crimes. When if you had watched the full clip, you would notice that he's clearly saying it's too late for them to mute him, which they obviously found out the hard way. You see, people like me realize that people like Asante, who these people fed off their narratives, were lying, and they had money on the brain. And as you just heard in that previous clip, Asante both A, confirmed she never saw him with any minors, and 2, confirmed that she saw him with money that would obviously give a person such as herself with her background the big eyes and thinking, this might be a lick. So is it far-fetched to believe that people like her are using this situation as a money grab, regardless of how you want to look at it? When they found out the man didn't have the money that they anticipated him having, that's when I feel like a lot of these people began to show remorse in the things they've done, including the people within his entourage that was paving the way. The narrative that these people think we are so slow enough to swallow up that R. Kelly blew all his riches on settlements with these girls is preposterous. The mere fact that this individual, JP, who's in the indictment, her story alone sets the stage and lets us know that maybe, just maybe, these women were used to embezzle and extort money, and not that he was actually doing anything illegal with these individuals. And the reason I say that is because when you follow the trail of who this person was connected to and blase, 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 you will notice that a particular lawyer pops up. And the same attorney that pops up was also involved in some more money embezzlement issues in which a promoter sent her money. R. Kelly didn't perform, and that money was not returned. And then yet again, another accuser from Minnesota pops out the woodworks. And this is the same cycle that we observe over and over and over. But let's just pinpoint quite a few things that stood out the most when it comes to JP, because they act like we're supposed to just ignore all these facts that a person like Tasha K could have easily had access to, and we're supposed to swallow up the fact that she has a new change of heart, when if she had done her diligence in the beginning, we would not be here debunking all the bullcrap that was spewed on her platform. Now, when it comes to this individual, people keep saying that she admitted that she lied about her age, and that's only because they know the surface level of her story. They don't know that they can go over here and subpoena this witness who was with her when she allegedly had a fake ID to get into this courthouse, in which obviously you had to be 18 and up to get into. On top of that, she also tells about this friend that had a tattoo shop. So what minor do you know that is able to get a tattoo? But yet we're supposed to believe that somewhere along the line she told a person that she was such a super fan her real age, when her friend has come out on public platforms and said she's both hung out with this girl's mother, and her mother also gave her the impression this girl was over the age of 18. So how can we fault R. Kelly for the fact that there are girls out here that will lie about their age, put themselves in adult situations, and then play victim later on? Not only that, it's just so many things that came out about this individual. The main thing that stands to me, again, when these people on the other side want to keep pushing their narratives, is that they keep talking about certain individuals that have clearly been implicated in stealing and embezzling money. And these are the type of people that are supposed to give credit to their story. Like Asante McGee, who we clearly saw had the eyes on this bag of money that R. Kelly allegedly had. Then you have people like the former assistant manager who had access to these credit cards, debit cards, and all this other access she had. And then they keep mentioning this gender goddess, who even this accuser has said has fabricated her story. So, please tell me how we're supposed to believe her. Are we not supposed to believe her friend, in which she's telling us everybody that knew her at the time thought she was over the age of 18? The icing on the cake is just how these so-called accusers are just so willing to give their testimony via social media. So it makes you wonder, how are they going to be a relevant witness to a case when they're giving their whole testimony online? Matter of fact, they've spoken so much it just raises red flags as to their involvement. This lady in particular posted a so-called receipt that had R. Kelly's signature on it. And I have just taken a grab of a couple different images that are supposed to be R. Kelly's signature, including the letter that was sent to another alleged accuser, Faith Rogers, that was allegedly threatening her, which I've said from the beginning, I don't believe R. Kelly had anything to do with it. So when you look at these signatures, you would have to recognize that, it's quite possible that somebody or people, a collective bunch of people, were mimicking R. Kelly's signature. Therefore, a lot of the things that he allegedly signed could be called into question as fraudulent activity. So with that being said, that would bring these settlements. How do we know that he knew about all of these that they claim, considering they say that there's 10, 11 other claims that nobody seems to be able to produce? So where are they? You can readily look up the main ones that went to the same one, Susan Loggins, but where are the rest of these girls that had settlements? And even on that note, let's be logical. Prior to surviving R. Kelly, let's say he was only worth $150 million, not the $900 million he thought. Let's just say he was worth $150 million. How many lawsuits or settlements do you think it would take to deplete $150 million when majority of these women claim they only received a $250,000 settlement? The only one that comes talking about I received $1.5 million is JP. So with that being said, you do the basic math. And it's very clear that in 2014, when Geronda Place came back out talking about money that was missing, it should be obvious that maybe the check stopped because the settlement had stopped, and or because the manager that was in charge had left. So with that being said, for her to come out now and try to backpedal and say that she came out to protect Joy and all that and it wasn't about the money stopping, that is a bold-faced lie. And even more so, it should tell you that how long did this girl expect to be receiving payments? $1.5 million, how long does it take to reach? In conclusion, this video was merely to provoke some thoughts and to make you move past this believe her bullcrap that they're trying to shove down your throat. Because in so many situations, we can see like the Kalina Collier situation, if you just believe her and run with what she says, you can make an ass out of yourself. So when these people clearly come out and tell you that, oh, he just makes sure they're of legal age now, and then they use people to get on these platforms and feed these narratives of he's a pedo and he's this and he's that, how can you take these people serious? How can you take these people serious when they expect you to believe this man spent all his money on settlements, like these people got 100 million settlements to justify what they're saying? None of what they say makes sense to a person listening, and if you listen and pay close attention to the details that they put out, it's a whole lot of double talking. People sit here and be like, well, what did R. Kelly do for the black community? And that's another issue the black community has. Why do people feel this sense of obligation in which people that reach success in their eyes are supposed to do anything for them? Now, it's really easy to look up the charitable things that each celebrity has attributed to. And it's also common sense to say that everybody doesn't have to brag and boast about the charitable events that they participated in. But I'll close on this note because I'll bring it back in my upcoming video. It's very interesting, the people, again, that these other individuals will get on their platform and cap for and throw in there like they're credible sources. So with that being said, it's funny when a person speaks on a particular funeral that R. Kelly did pay for. It was for a specific manager, the same manager in which the Savages claim set up this whole rendezvous, or was supposed to set up this meeting with Joycelyn and R. Kelly. So do we see how these people doing all this extra talking, they throw people's names out there. The people names they throw out are not credible. And before a lot of people do their thorough research and validify the things that they're hearing, they go on these platforms and defame this man's character. And over. People are using these people that they claim are credible sources, people they may or may not have gotten to lie for their benefits. They keep throwing these names of these individuals out, which leads to alleged accuser, which they say R. Kelly is trafficking girls, but they're not holding accountable these people that are doing the trafficking. They want to sugarcoat their titles and call them enablers, when in actuality, if what they're saying is true, these people are not enablers, they are accomplices, and there's a big damn difference. That's why I know a lot of these people are bullshitting. They come out here and throw out these individuals who have their hands in the dirty pot. These individuals who are linked to some fraudulent activity, and then we want to give them these stories and make their claims seem legit because they allegedly worked for R. Kelly. Are we seeing how the truth can be manipulated, and that these people are selectively putting out certain information to distort your opinion about a person, which is what we call defamation of character? So when it comes to Tasha K and this lady JP, who has been such a obvious source to her information, how can people still not recognize what's going on and the level of involvement these people such as Tasha K had? Now, if you're feeble-minded enough to think that we believe that these bloggers and etc. are the main reason R. Kelly is locked up, wrong. Hear me and hear me clearly when I'm saying all those involved in defaming his character prior to him going to trial, putting out all these false narratives, should be held accountable.